The APC presidential flag bearer, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, cannot hold a teacup, says Na'ajatu Mohammed, as she gives reasons why the APC candidate must not be president in an exclusive interview with the Whistler. Hello everyone, welcome to Newsport TV. The presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, does not have the presence of mind to be the president of Nigeria. A former chieftain of the party, Na'ajatu Mohammed, said during a telephone interview. Mohammed, who is not known to pull her punches when it comes to making public comments, announced her resignation from the Tinubu campaign on Saturday and said she was quitting party politics. In a resignation letter as the director of civil society in the Presidential Campaign Council of the ruling APC addressed to the national chairman, Abdullahi Adamu, she said recent developments in the political and democratic space have made it impossible for her to continue participating in party politics. She stated that the challenges facing the country today require me to continue championing the struggle for a better country with a clear conscience as I remain absolutely loyal to Nigeria, adding that the problems required the consolidated efforts of competent and patriotic leadership across every level of governance. But giving more details on what informed her decision to dump the Tinubu campaign, she told the Whistler that the APC presidential candidate had demonstrated clear symptoms of dementia when she visited him for a private meeting in London. She said, Asiwaju that I sat with for 2 hours, he slept most of the time. It was Bisi Akonde that I was really talking to. Most importantly, he's not only physically unfit, he's mentally unfit. Whether we want it or not, this is the truth. It's not that I hate him. I respect him because I've heard of 1 or 2 people that he assisted, which is good. But when you talk of leadership of over 200 million people, you know that if you remove tribal sentiment, you know that he is incapable. Those that will rule are those around him. This is the reality. He is mentally deranged. I said it. I sat with him for 2 hours in London. When you talk of green, he will give you an answer of red. He can't even decipher. He has very serious dementia. I believe he has Alzheimer's because he cannot even hold a cup of tea. If you remove tribal sentiment, if you remove the Lagos Ibadan press, if Tinubu were not a Yoruba man, he will not dare contest election because they will crucify him. But people are all there to defend him because he's Yoruba. It's Egbe Omo Dudua over everything else. I was in the campaign for Yola, and we had to beg them to take the mic from him. Everything about Tinubu is based on lies. Imagine he's an Hausa man. Will he contest elections with all this gbese on top of him? In this campaign, nobody should talk of corruption because they are corruption personified. Mohammed has, however, disclosed she will be supporting the People's Democratic Party candidate, Atiku Abubakar, in the presidential election because he is a lesser evil. What I'm saying is, if I have to choose between the devil and the deep sea, I will go for the deep sea. I will support Atiku because over and above everything else, I follow my conscience. I'm not doing it for myself, I'm doing it for God and for my country, she stated. Mohammed, who disclosed that she had not met Tinubu again since after she accepted the appointment to serve in the PCC, also claimed the former Lagos State governor had no plans for the North, despite the myriad of problems confronting the region. Recalling a London meeting with the APC candidates, Mohammed said, I asked Tinubu, what do you have for us in the North? He looked me in the face and said, nothing. I said, sir, you mean you have nothing for the North? The question of insecurity, out of school children, agriculture, and many things like that, everybody in the Northeast is waiting to be deleted or kidnapped. Let's take some part of the interview. The interviewer said, I was shocked to read that you had decided to quit politics. She said, I did not say I'm quitting. People don't read very well. I said party politics. Party politics is different from quitting politics. As I'm saying is that I should not be caged to a particular party. I have God-given ability to mobilize. I cannot cage myself to APC. That is why I left the APC. But I'm still very much in politics. And another question went, but don't you think your pulling out of the APC campaign will affect the chances of the party in the north? She said, I'm not in any race. I'm not contesting any election. If my pulling out of the campaign affects them, that's their problem. Another question says, which candidate are you going to support for president? She said, I have been talking to Kwakwanso. I know he is handicapped. I have not sat with Obi, but Obi is not accepted in the north anyway. Someone was saying between Tinubu and Atiku is like the devil and the deep sea. I said that is true, but I'd rather jump into the deep sea. The next question is there a reason why you prefer Atiku? She said, yes, I have sat with him. I wanted to leave APC a long time ago, but they pleaded with me not to and made me understand that things will change. When I was first given the appointment, I was called by one Falaki. I was actually on a flight. We were in the aircraft and there was a delay, and I opened my phone and he called and he said, this is Falaki. And I said, I don't know who you are. And he explained who he was. He said, we want to make you a director in the civil society organization. I told him that I don't want, and he wanted to plead with me. And I said, don't plead with me. Only God is Alpha and Omega. I'm just an instrument to be used by God anytime he wants. But I have a passion for my country. I told him Asiwaju knows me, but he has never contacted me. For that reason, I have not sat with him to ask him what he has for us in the north. He pleaded with me to accept the appointment and speak with Asiwaju later. So one has to be humble. I accepted, but on the basis that if I am not satisfied by the answer given to me by Asiwaju, I will opt out. And he said yes, he was grateful. And that same day at night, I was receiving an unknown number for about a couple of minutes, and I picked it up. Then I saw a text message saying Asiwaju wants to talk to me. He called immediately and said, I'm very sorry, but I respect the fact that you refused my appointment. And I said, no wahala. He asked why I refused the appointment, and I said, first, you never consulted me. I left CPC to stay with you at ACN because it was always Buhari getting out of alliance. And anytime he's getting out, he always wanted us to follow him. So this time, I said, I'm not going. I'm not a slave. Going everywhere for no reason. I said, I'm not going along with Buhari. I will stick to ACN. So I stuck with ACN. I supported Ribadu. Asked him how much of my money I spent. Millions for Nuhu Ribadu. But Nuhu left for PDP without even telling me. When I asked him, he said, is it my fault? Then I said, when I was giving you millions of naira, didn't you know that you have an obligation? Asiwaju started begging me not to disappoint them. So I said, what is it you want? He said, I'm in London. Can you come and meet me in London? I said, why not? He said, do you want me to buy you a ticket? I said, no. No, sir. It's not the problem. He said, do you need a hotel? I said, yes, sir. So after I dropped the call, I called my traveling agent that night to get me a ticket, and that is how I got to London that same day at night. I was picked up by one Ibrahim Masari. I sat with Asiwaju, and while we were sitting there, came in Chief Bisi Akonde. I asked Asiwaju, sir, please tell me, if you really want me to do this job for you, tell me what I did to Buhari. I always attend his campaign. The structure for the Northwest is my structure. I made it and sustained it. I asked Tinubu, what do you have for us in the North? He looked me in the face and said, nothing. I said, sir, you mean you have nothing for the North? The question of insecurity, out of school children, agriculture, and many other things like that, everybody in the Northeast is waiting to be deleted. Then Tinubu said, if I give you my blueprint, I will be subjecting myself to all kinds of things. Sometimes they might even delete you. I said, who are they? Sir, you have to have a blueprint. He said he had no intention of making a blueprint until he wins the election. I said, then there will be a lot of distraction. This is exactly what has happened to Buhari. Every time we go out, it's about how we get power, not about how to utilize it. He said if I had anything the North would need, that I should bring it to him so he can put it in his manifesto. I said that was fair enough, but I told him that we have a network led by Sanusi Lamido. He said that was okay and asked if we should go meet him in Paris. But I told him I would do that. So the next day I went to Paris and I called Sanusi and I told him I'm in Paris. He said he was sorry that he was in Monaco. So we agreed I should go back to London and wait for him. So I went back to London about 4 or 5 days after he met with me. He was kind and humble when he came to my hotel, and I told him everything that transpired between myself and Asiwaju. He encouraged me and gave me a breakdown of what we should have. The question of the Amajiri, they are the ones that are used as cannon fodder for banditry, and then the economy, agriculture, our currency. Do you know I compiled these things till date I have not been able to deliver to him. So you can see how patient I have been. I told Asiwaju I have no business being a zombie. I can't be following you because you are Asiwaju. I don't care who you are. I can only follow Allah. Because anyone that does not put himself on the scale of God or to whom he will return, I think that person is a sick person. I am 66 years and at this age, I cannot go deleting, stealing and so on. To get what? At what age? He has not reached out to me up till now. I tried Sir Bisi Akonde. I tried convincing Ibrahim Masari. I begged him because it was through him that I got to Asiwaju when I came to London. He was the closest person to him we know up north. I said, please, what do I do with these things I have written? He said, you know you are late now because Nasir El-Rufai has already brought something that we are putting on the manifesto. And the only thing that we are putting is the state police. So I said, so the North does not need anything except state police? State police for what? From that day, I had nothing to do with them. In fact, in spite of the fact that they made me a director. On the day we went for the inauguration, they tore my clothes because of the struggling to enter. Yes, I have never been humiliated like that. I showed them my invitation and told them who I was, but they said they didn't care. They were beating people up. When I got in there, I was very angry. It looked like girl n0t that was able to mobilize seats for me. Nobody even acknowledged me. Then another question came. But do you think Atiku will be different? She said, what I'm saying is, if I have to choose between the devil and the deep sea, I will go for the deep sea because over and above everything else, I follow my conscience. I'm not doing it for myself, I'm doing it for my country. I see Obi as somebody that has the charisma to move the youth. He can move the youth, but he has not been able to move the youth in the north. And the only youth he has been able to mobilize are those outside their stations, outside their states. He has not been able to move the youth of the southeast. I've not seen the youth of the southeast follow him. They will rather go with Kanu. And these are youths that don't know anything about our history. Their parents probably didn't know about the war. But for somebody like me, I still remember that my father was hiding a lot of Igbos in our house. Why I take exception to Obi is that he has never condemned it. That is my problem with him. He has never come out to condemn IPOB. If you want to lead, how do you dialogue with them? They are even deleting his own people. He said they have a right to agitate for secession. But so if you believe they can agitate, then he shouldn't be the president of the country. He should be like Desmond Tutu and negotiate for peace as a national figure. Asiwaju that I sat with for 2 hours, he slept most of the time. It was Bisi Akonde that I was really talking to. Most importantly, he is not physically fit. He is mentally unfit, whether we want it or not. This is the truth. It's not that I hate him. I respect him because I've heard of 1 or 2 people that he assisted, which is good. But when you talk about 200 million people, remove tribal sentiment. We all know he's incapable. Those that will rule are those around him. This is the reality. He is mentally unstable. I said it. Another question went, what evidence do you have to support your claim that Tinubu is not fit? She said, I sat with him for 2 hours in London. When you talk of green, he will give you an answer of red. He can't even differentiate because I think he has serious dementia. Another question says, you are from Kano, where Kwakwanso comes from. Why are you not supporting Kwakwanso, who is younger? And she responded, let's not talk about youth. There have been some old presidents in Asia that have been very, very good, and there have been very young governors here that are nothing but tyrants and thieves. So it has nothing to do with age, but mental ability and commitment. At least you can make sense of what he's saying and what he's doing. I was in the campaign for Yola, and we had to beg them to take the mic from Tinubu. Everything about Tinubu is based on lies. Imagine he's an Hausa man. Will he contest elections with all this base around him? Then another question came and said, do you think President Muhammadu Buhari is supporting Tinubu? And she said, Buhari is not supporting anyone. He is too self-centered, quotes me. Buhari has never supported anybody but himself. I will be shocked if he is supporting him, and if Buhari is supporting anyone, it is zero for that person. So when I heard Asiwaju say he will continue from where Buhari has stopped, I said, you have killed yourself in the north because Buhari is a taboo. Check his budget over the years. The highest he has given the Northwest is 12%. The highest he allocated to agriculture is 2%. And he is hated because of his nepotism. All the service chiefs, including fire brigade, he gave to a northerner. And he picked the worst of the worst. So that we will continue to be deleted. And then you say your own brother is deleting you. So if your own brother is deleting you, what difference does it make to the victim? As we are talking now, people are being kidnapped in Katsina. There is no single day people are not kidnapped in Katsina, Zamfara, and Niger State. So when they say Fulani or not Fulani, who cares? If you drop down from the sky and you're a good leader, what difference does it make in an enabling environment? But when Nigeria has become the personal property of some elites, if you had given me Asiwaju, I swear I would have put my life on the line for Asiwaju because he's a better person. He's open, he's proactive, and he puts his eyes on the ball and looks at Nigeria holistically. The few months that he was given to act, it changed things. So why should I be sentimental? If the Yorubas were serious, why not give it to Asiwaju, who is a pastor? You are doing Muslim now. The only prophet said, a just atheist is better than an unjust Muslim. So why do I care about Muslim? But they are busy not only galvanizing the polity, but deceiving people. How Islamic are they? Somebody that could not even read Fatiha is calling himself a Muslim. Without Fatiha, you can't pray, which means he has never prayed. What nonsense is that? I don't care about a Muslim ticket, but because Nigeria is a nation of ignorance, sheep's been driven to the slaughterhouse. That is why our ruling class deliberately took education from the people, especially in the north. Kwakwanso would have been my best friend because I'm from Kano. He was my neighbor. I know what he has done for us. He did a great job, especially in terms of education. He stopped bandits. He stopped political thuggery and engaged them, put them in jobs, took them to school. The children of the poorest of the poor were given scholarships to fly outside. He did a great job. But at this point in time, he has a weak party. It's a party that is unknown except in a few places. In Kano, even in 2019, he won the election, but they came with police and deleted hundreds. I worked in the Police Service Commission. Protests were made with vivid pictures. Hundreds of people were deleted, and that is why it was inconclusive. That is one of the reasons I had to leave the APC, because I had to work for my candidates in Kano. But Kwakwanso does not stand a chance at the presidential level. This is the reality that one has to think. In my opinion, I can't start to be sentimental. I have to be broad-minded. I don't wish for anything for myself. Everything I'm doing is out of passion for my country. I went to a public school. Europeans were teaching me in Kano at a public school, except for my primary and junior school that I went to a Catholic private school. I was the only black girl in the white school. After that, Baba put me in a public school all through to the university. It was public. But now I have to pay through my nose for my child to go to Oxford. Why? Millions of our children cannot go to school. They are the bandits that are haunting us today. This is by our creation, and we still lie until we all become victims. And the last question goes, will you then talk to Kwakwanso to step down for Atiku? And she responded, no, you don't ask anybody to step down for anybody. They had a meeting the last time, and I wouldn't want to tell you what happened because it's none of my business. I shouldn't be speaking for him. Quite a lengthy and I think quite profound interview, because somehow I tend to believe that she's speaking from the heart. I just choose to believe that she's speaking from the heart. Although, from what we know about Nigeria, when a politician is talking, don't take them all hook, line, and sinker. But somehow this felt like an interview from the heart because she's able to buttress a lot of her points. She's talking not just off her head, she's talking from her heart, kind of. And she's able to make an analogies and also able to talk about events and who said this and naming people, which shows boldness. Unlike some politicians, when they want to relate to particular incidents of theirs, they just go about not mentioning names and making everything seems very ambiguous. But I think Na'ajatu Mohammed has been able to talk about her feelings, even relating into how she has to pay through her nose to send her child or her children to Oxford University, which is the plight of a lot of Nigerians now who are fairly above, the middle class, are just looking for ways to send their children to school, and the modern slavery continues. What's your opinion on this explosive and exclusive interview given by Na'ajatu Mohammed about why she left the APC? Please drop your comments in the comment section below. Like I said, we'll keep hearing more surprising things, more, explosive interviews and outbursts by politicians, and which is normal in a democracy. Everybody has the right to move around, freedom of expression, but we hope that the remaining part of whatever is integrity in our politicians will still stay and not just talking because of the need to sort out their pockets for the next administration. Thank you very much for watching. Share, like, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Like I always say, God bless Nigeria. Bye for now.